Hey guys, John Delemmy here for a very, very special show. I got Dr. Elizabeth Eads once again as a special guest. She's going to expose. We had a great interview. This is kind of a unique show. I interviewed her earlier today, and we're gonna play the interview live on our show. She's going to expose how vaccinated people are shedding spike proteins. Get ready for a tremendous show. Make sure you grab a pen that writes, take some notes. And as always, you can always communicate with us. And our direct to call or text us is 561-847-3467. You can email us at team at conservativebusinessjournal.com. Make sure you do share this on Telegram. Make sure you follow us on Telegram. Our Telegram channel is CBJ Real News. And make sure on Rumble, you guys subscribe to Rumble channel and share and rumble away, as we say, and get the real news out. You know, we're massively censored and banned on YouTube for life and all that good stuff, and demonetized on Google and all that. We appreciate our sponsors and supporters. So let's jump right into it. You guys will enjoy this format. I'm very excited about that.
Backed by popular demand.
And let me pause it here for a second there. And you guys will see there for those of you watching the video, to the screen to the right of me there is a Dr. Elizabeth Eads. We had a tremendous show last night. Our show was phenomenal. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon tens of thousands of listens and share. And the reason why we're so late recording this tonight is, once again, we've had conversation after conversation of people's families being affected, being murdered and killed by the CDC protocol. People are scared and fearful. So get ready for incredible wisdom from Dr. Elizabeth and I in a conversation we had today. And this is the CBJ Real News Podcast Show. Doctor exposes how vaccinated people are shedding the spiked proteins. Get ready.
On a podcast show on Thursday evening, September 2nd, I said that Dr. Betsy is going to be a regular contributor to our CBJ Real News Podcast Show, because we've now, after one of my greatest friends, Presley Stutz, was murdered and killed by the CDC protocol, we made a decision to expose the truth. And I want to thank the hundreds and thousands of you, the literally thousands of you who have responded to deathbydoctors.com. I put your email in there, and you're sending stories into us. And, you know, last night's show, Dr. Betsy, we got a lot of response from the transmission. Someone gets the vaccine, and you were so awesome in clarifying and being very, very distinct on the difference of shedding versus the transmission from those that have taken this jab. So could you expand upon that, please?
Sure, absolutely. Listen, the mRNA delivery device is packaged in a envelope, a nanolipid envelope, and they need that for delivery into the cell. That goes into the deltoid muscle. It goes into the cell, and it makes a synthetic spike protein. Those synthetic spike proteins are then released, and they're supposed to be released and hook onto and make antibodies. And they often get into a situation where the vaccine becomes leaky. And leaky means that the spike proteins are spilled into the blood vessels, into the bloodstream. And what's happening are two things. You have synthetic spike proteins being made nonstop, and then you have antibodies being made nonstop. And the hypothesis is that these spike proteins are circulating nonstop. We thought originally, per Pfizer's study notes, that the transmission of these spike proteins from the mouth, the nose, the respiratory tract was just a short period of time, like up to 14 days. But now we're discovering that the spike protein is being shed nose, mouth, respiratory, urine, fecal, breast milk, and it's being constantly made. And those original notes from Pfizer that we thought were only 14 to 28 days after the shot is not true. The hypothesis that's now being proven is that spike proteins being continuously made and continuously shed. And then you go and give a booster, then you have a whole nother batch of synthetic spike protein being produced, as well as antibodies being produced. And now we're finding out, Dr. Lawrence Palevsky is discovering that there's a possibility that these spike proteins are not specific only to the SARS-CoV virus, but other viruses. That's a little terrifying.
That's terrifying. And I just want to interject there. I just want to interject here, Dr. Betsy. And guys, this is why you got to share our episodes, get tied into the CBJ Real News, our podcast show. This is what we do. Where we are. We're not coming up for air to expose this. I want you to expand a little for a few minutes on this. You said continuous shedding, continuous spike proteins. I mean, they are setting up, and I've said it from the beginning, it's a biochemical strategic warfare to basically, it's eugenics. It's to depopulate, the world. I mean, this is what the cabal and the deep state and Fauci and Gates and you get the sheep like, I was out today here in beautiful West Palm Beach, Florida. It's 91 degrees out, and people are walking down the street with a mask on. They got them, and they take this little jab, and it's no big deal, but it's a biochemical weapon of warfare. And I'm going to be very direct, and I want to thank all of you once again. We've received so much from people that are so glad that we're sharing the real news. And this is very important. You said the continuity of it just, I get duplicating in one's body. Can you expand upon that, please?
So the hypothesis, and there are many researchers looking at this right now, is that these synthetic spike proteins that are being produced are being massively produced at this genetic. It's a genetic message that the cells are putting out to make more spike protein, make more spike protein, make more antibody. And it's a continuous cycle. It's not being turned off. And these spike proteins are supposed to stay attached.
Guys, even as you hear the conversation with Dr. Betsy and I today, as we're playing on the show this evening, obviously time schedule, she was not able to come on live, but I wanted to get this content out to all of you. Make sure you share this and make sure you take notes on it. And this is very, very important. This is a deep, deep show. I suggest listen to it numerous times because there's so much content. This continuity of the transmission and the creation of spike proteins, this specific section is tremendous. You will not hear this. 99.9% of other so-called news outlets and other conservative outlets, because their sponsors and supporters will not be confident enough to promote this because they're afraid of the truth. So I want to thank all of you. Make sure you do share this. And you're going to listen to this numerous times. Take some notes. This is a very, very deep section. Dr. Betsy is brilliant. Brilliant.
To cells, and they're not. They're getting into the bloodstream. So it's a continuous flow of spike protein, and so it's a continuous shedding. This isn't short-term shedding or short-term transmission. The proper term is transmission, but it's definitely being transferred, and it's being transferred to other human beings, and there are various COVID-like symptoms happening along with some of the symptoms we talked about last night. The COVID symptoms could be fatigue, fever, runny nose, shortness of breath, but they could also be things like in young men, swelling of the testicles, in women, irregular menstrual cycles. And so spike proteins are dangerous. They're dangerous. And even the
Crazy.
maker, Dr. Malone, of this mRNA delivery system says that these vaccines should not be given.
Let's expand upon that, because we say that, we know it, but so many people can't believe that's real. And the sheep, they control the sheep. That's why the media has tried to ban us and censor us and shut us down. But once again, I want to reaffirm. I mean, your episode from Thursday night, September 2nd, on a podcast show is going viral. This one I know is going to go viral also. I want to thank all of you sharing it on Rumble, subscribing to our channel, sharing it on a podcast platform, iHeartRadio. It went crazy last 24 hours, the audio version of our podcast show. And I want everyone to really understand this. They're after your family. They're after your life. They're after to control you. That's the deep state, the cabal, the New World Order. And the word spike protein, and then the person, so two questions. The person that created it, what was it created for? And they're saying, look, don't take it for a vaccine. So how did Pfizer, Moderna, how did they get a hold of it? How's this all orchestrated together? And then I know we talked this afternoon a little bit about the patents and the money. That would be another whole show, but we can put a little bit of that in here tonight. It's about the vaccine. So share everyone what a spike protein is and why was this created and so forth. What's it for?
The mRNA delivery research has been going on for years. The very first patent showed up around 2012. So some very brilliant scientists were working on the RNA viruses as a class and trying to make successful RNA vaccines. In the history of vaccines in America, the RNA vaccines have not been successful. We haven't had a successful vaccine for HIV. There's been many failures for RNA vaccines. So the mRNA approach to trying to deliver a message into a cell to make a spike protein and then create antibodies that would recognize and attack that spike protein is actually a very clever approach. However, it didn't finish animal studies and it didn't finish trials. So in the early studies, all of the ferrets in the early studies died.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up about the ferrets. Some of you know that story, some of you don't. All the ferrets died. The poor ferrets died. Expand upon that, please, Dr. Betsy.
So in the early studies of these mRNA delivery, they were very leaky viruses. In other words, they were very unstable. They had difficulty getting into cells, and they were staying in bloodstreams. They had difficulty delivering. They used various different animals, rabbits. They used various different ferrets, and all of the early animals died during the mRNA studies. They all died.
It's brutal, and that's why this is why we do what we do. And then there's the word spike protein. We hear how dangerous that is and how that opens up your body for so many sicknesses and illnesses. So to expand upon it, what that term means, you hear that spike protein.
Well, the spike protein is supposed to elicit an antibody response, and you want the antibody response to recognize the SARS-CoV virus, so that when someone is faced with that virus again, the antibodies will rush there, activate your T cells, your natural killer cells, and your macrophages to kill that virus. So the spike protein is enabling a whole lot of antibody to be made, and that is, in definition, in theory, what they intended. They intended the spike protein to help to make antibodies so that patients could fight off this coronavirus. But they didn't count on this being a leaky virus leaking in, leaking in with spike protein leaking into the bloodstream. They didn't.
Well, I mean,
they didn't count.
just to me, it's a recipe for this disaster. And I just heard today, someone spoke to someone earlier today that two people that one's in an event right now and one's about to go on an event, and they both got the double shots, and they were maskers, double shots, vaccine, and they were healthy prior to this. There's no pre-existing conditions, no obesity, no high blood pressure, no high cholesterol, no sleep apnea, no issues that give someone a compromised immune system. Very healthy, and they chose to follow the sheep, and they're now one person at an event for 4 days, and it's brutal. And
Well,
okay.
What's happening, John, is after 2 shots and now booster, you're making so much spike protein and you're making so much antibody that only recognizes SARS-CoV virus. So I'll use an analogy of a football team. You've got the great strong offensive line, right? And you've got.
And guys, I want you to listen to this specific section. Once again, I interviewed Dr. Betsy earlier today, and we're playing the audio interview tonight on a CBJ Real News podcast show. And this specific section of her analogy of a football game is tremendous. Once again, take notes on this show. Grab a pen that writes. Take some notes. Share this episode. Get it out everywhere. And it's a powerful, powerful, powerful information because it's a matter of life or death. And this is the second appearance of Dr. Betsy on our show. All of you know she had a first appearance was Thursday night. And that episode is available, obviously, on a podcast platform. It's obviously on Rumble. And it's available everywhere. So make sure you listen to that episode. Medical doctor exposed to the COVID-19 fraud. Tens of thousands of views, listens, shares. It's going viral, just like this one will. This is a very, very important analogy, and she gives a great analogy where you can see this and you can envision this, and it really just brings it home to how deadly and how strategic they set this up.
Got the opposing team lined up on the other side with their best running back, and you're trying to defend a virus, and you think that you took the shots and have the best antibodies possible to fight off SARS-CoV-2, but all of a sudden here comes respiratory syncytial virus, and you've got the running back coming through the offensive line of the antibodies that only recognize SARS-CoV-2 and not respiratory syncytial virus. And what happens? That running back, that RSV running back, runs right through the line because the antibodies don't recognize the next virus, and they score a touchdown. Yay! Wow. You just lost because your antibodies and your immune system doesn't work after you take these shots when you're in the face of a new virus or a new bacterial infection. They don't work. Then you get into a situation of cytokine storm and antibody-dependent failure, antibody enhancement syndrome, and it's complete breakdown of the immune system and sepsis, and those people die.
It's crazy.
And that's what, as you guys hear this and we share this, it just, from my layman's, just a person that believes in health, and I've always been into health, and so when I was talking to somebody today, I said, I haven't been in this game just for the last 6 months or 18 months. My first book, as I'll be mailing out a copy of my book I wrote 19 years ago, my most recent book, Dr. Betsy, and in it, I talk about without your health, you're broke. The human body is so strong. Captain Wayne Smith, he's been on my show numerous times, keynote speaker at my events, and he served 5 years, 2 months in a Hanoi Hilton as a prisoner of war, 2 years solitary confinement. The beatings, the brutal beatings, the lack of food, the lack of sleep, yet the human body repairs itself. And I just want you to expand upon it, how this is setting up the human body not to do what it's supposed to do, is get stronger, repair itself. Then we're going to move into just a little bit of another question about what to do if you're around someone, well, living with someone that's made a decision to get the vaccine, and what can you do. But just expand upon how this is weakening the ability of the amazing body God creates. The human body is an amazing machine that our Heavenly Father, God Almighty, creates, that is just amazing what it does. And this is just warfare from the cabal and a deep state to keep us.
Well, in a nutshell, it's a bomb to the immune system.
You said it's a bomb for the immune system. Bomb. Wow, guys, get ready once again. The reason I'm interjecting during this, because I know what she's about to say, because I obviously did the interview with her earlier. Just get ready for some unbelievable information, no holds barred, uncensored truth about the vaccine, spike protein, immune system. Once again, grab a pen that writes, take some notes, share this episode, get the information out. Here we go.
It's a nuclear bomb to the immune system. The immune system cannot recognize and fight. It destroys the killer macrophages and the natural killer cells, and you just don't have your immune system. Your natural immune system is set up with various antibodies to recognize various infections and go fight and kill. With taking the mRNA shots, your immune system is completely destroyed. You cannot recognize, you cannot kill, and it is a complete disaster.
So I challenge everyone, those of you that are potentially being forced into the job, make sure you do what you legally can do to get exempt from that. Let them fire you. Use the exemption forms that we've shared with all of you, and make sure you guys know about all that. Just call or text us at 561-847-3467 or email team, T-E-A-M, team at conservativebusinessjournal.com. We shared something we posted in the Conservative Business Journal. Actually, Lynn Wood shared on his Telegram. It's an article I published in regards to the legal exemptions for all of you. This is a war we're in. This is a war. And you're all human beings created by God in His image, and in life right now, you got to stand. Faith stands and fear runs. This is so strong. Final question for your yet many appearances going forward. We just had to have a deeper conversation about the transmission, which has been phenomenal. The last 20 minutes on that. What happens if someone got vaccinated, and let's say you're living with them, it's your spouse, or you're in a work environment and you're constantly around them, people are scared. I mean, what can they do themselves for that situation? What do they do?
Excellent question. The Zelenko protocol, which includes zinc, 200 milligrams daily, vitamin D, at least 5,000 units daily, vitamin C, at least 2,000 units daily, quercetin 500 milligrams daily. There's pine needle tea and anise tea. They have the ability to bind to the spike protein and eliminate the spike protein. There's a product called Nanosoma Spray that you can get from Life Enthusiasts. It's Martin at lifeenthusiasts.com. And there's a nasal wash that I personally use that was developed by a ear, nose, and throat specialist called Xlear, Xlear, and that can be ordered online. That's a nasal wash that doesn't allow virus or spike protein to seed in your nose and your respiratory tract. So there's quite a few treatments and prophylaxis out there. If you're high risk, you have heart disease, you have diabetes, you have cancer, you have immunocompromised status, you have CLL, any of the myelodysplasias or bone disorders or MS or immunocompromised status, you need to get on prophylactic ivermectin or prophylactic hydroxychloroquine. Those are cheap. You're talking about $7 for a whole week prescription. You're talking about pennies a day for ivermectin, as opposed to $3,000 for some of the hospital antivirals. It's very inexpensive treatment.
Yeah, and we actually, and you guys are going to see on conservativemarketplace.com, a lot of the products that Dr. Betsy sharing, we are going to be offering them on there for all of you. Like we just added today, matter of fact, right before we were doing the show, was the Quercetin. How do you pronounce it? Quercetin. People, you mentioned that last night and talked a lot about that. What does that do for the body, and how important is that for people?
Well, it really helps at the cellular level to not allow the virus into the cell to replicate. So does zinc. Zinc is very important in any virus prevention. It does not allow the virus to replicate. And it's a simple, easy thing to buy.
Yeah, we have it now. That's available now on conservativemarketplace.com as of right now as this show. We literally just made it live. We're gonna. Many of you know my whole background. What's interesting how God works, Dr. Betsy, is I used to own and operate 9 nutrition stores in the late 90s. My nickname was Johnny Natural when I did all weightlifting and bodybuilding. My career when I was in my early 20s, and my dad said, if you ever take steroids, I'll kill you. So my nickname is Johnny Natural. I have a license plate in my office here in my studio. It says J Natural. So it's amazing how God brings me back to this in my life. I've been in this game my entire life. I mean, and I believe so much in the correct supplementation, getting the body stronger. It is so important. It is so important. And then something else a lot of people ask for, and we did our research with Dr. Christers. You're going to get to meet.
And you guys think I'm kidding? It's Jack. His license plate, J Natural. This is my nickname when I first moved to Florida. It was Johnny Natural, because I'm very into supplementation. And when I was in my bodybuilding weightlifting days, never took steroids. So it's just to prove a point, I had to show this during the show live, even though we're obviously playing an interview I did with Dr. Betsy earlier today, and it's powerful interview. So just had to show the license plate. And yes, guys, you guys can visit conservativemarketplace.com. We are starting to add in some highly recommended and suggested supplementation. Obviously, you guys have heard from Dr. Kristen numerous times on the show. Sort We the People Fight Back event. I can't wait to do a dual show with Dr. Betsy and Dr. Kristen. Right, Christy? It's going to be a great show with the best of the best. We are bringing the best of the best to you because we care about you. This isn't a game to us. This is about changing people's lives. So back to the incredible conversation with Dr. Betsy.
Her, and she obviously has her practice, and you also spoke about this last night, the NAC, the NACETYL cysteine NAC product, the amino acid program too, for building up the strength for people. What does that do for people?
I think that just helps to boost the immune system.
Which is the
okay. Anything that you can do to boost your immune system. There are other treatments that are being used and studied right now. There's hydrogen therapy. There's inhaled hydrogen peroxide. There's nebulized hydrogen therapy. Anything that can repair, oxygenate tissue, oxygenate cells, repair cells, increase the mitochondrial or the energy of the cells, and all those things are going to contribute to getting these people to heal their cells and recover.
So important.
And there's some new technology coming down the line. We're seeing some Tesla quantum healing things coming online soon. John Baxter is working with medbed quantum healing technology. That's coming down the line. I believe that will help to do some DNA and RNA repair. Of course, there's prayer. Prayer is important as well. Asking God to heal your body.
And guys, and believe in it. Be real. This is a war. Don't get sucked into it. It's no big.
Yeah, and I'm interjecting once again, commenting live on. Obviously, I've interviewed Dr. Betsy earlier, as you guys have heard now throughout the show. But I just want to send my prayers out to Lisa. Lisa, I just saw this live in a live comment during a live show. She said, "Don't know if you caught my comment the other day, but my brother was just hospitalized for pneumonia related to COVID after getting vaccinated just a couple months ago. He really gets sick. He's a surfer. Lisa, we're praying for you." And then Kevin said right here. Kevin said, "John, we know of 2 people that died from the shot. One of them asked to be cremated and spread his ashes on our property. He told us that it was the shot that did it. I wish he didn't take it. He died of leukemia a few weeks after taking the shot." These are live. This is live during the show. These are live comments. These are real people, right, Christy? This is why we do what we do here at the CBJ Real News. This is why we're censored and banned on the big tech social media. And I keep repeating myself. Make sure you guys follow us on Telegram. You go to CBJ Real News, and also make sure, just quick station identification, because we've got about 10 minutes remaining with Dr. Betsy's interview. Make sure all of you do follow our podcast. You follow us by going on Rumble. You go to rumble.com, look at CBJ Real News. That's our channel. Subscribe. All the videos, all of our podcast shows are on there. And make sure you, on your smartphone, go to the Google Play Store, the Apple Store, and just thumb on in Conservative Business Journal. And then we stream our podcast, the audio version of our podcast, once every 24 hours. A new episode is up, and that is available on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Deezer, Radio.com, Radio Public, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Odyssey, Stitcher, Amazon Audible, Spreaker, Play.fm. And then you could also visit cbjrealnews.com. That's our podcast website. And you will see 4 words up in the menu bar: Get the app now. You click on Get the app now, opens right up in your smartphone, and then whatever podcast app you already have downloaded, just click on that. That goes right to our channel, and you can listen to this and share it and get it out everywhere. Get the real news out there. It is so incredibly important. I appreciate all of you that are sponsors and supporters, and those of you interested in supporting us, you guys can go to cbjsponsors.com, cbjsponsors.com. We appreciate the support. And obviously visit conservativemarketplace.com. We're starting to add in some of the nutritional supplementation recommendations by Dr. Betsy, and obviously by Dr. Krista. Dr. Krista's book is in there. And it's very important we get the information out to all of you. So conservativemarketplace.com. That's our station identification for our commercial, about 33 minutes into our show. So now back to the incredible interview with Dr. Betsy. Oh, there we go. Let it go here. Let's see. Maybe put it back in. Maybe it'll come up this way. Hit it again.
Big deal. Just like I've said,
there we go.
We'll just wear a mask. It's no big deal.
Our phone number is 561. Thank you for asking. 561-847-3467. 561-847-3467. You guys can email us at team at conservativebusinessjournal.com.
I saw it today. I tried to get the picture when I was driving, but I couldn't. There was a mom holding her 2 kids walking in Florida. Both kids have masks on. The mom, that's child abuse. But she's so sheeped out. It's 90 degrees in West Palm Beach, Florida earlier today. This is time sensitive. We're recording this on Friday, September 3rd. This is for our show. It's our show live, obviously. You guys hear it. But how does it happen? And I just one final question, and then we'll conclude tonight's appearance for you. This is so important, guys. Share this. I mean, it's a war. I mean, it's full tilt. I mean, now in the Wall Street Journal, there was a report saying where ivermectin is only used for horses, and the deplorables and us and the conservatives think they take that. They're now dying of that because they're taking horse prescriptions. You hear that going on, right? Have you heard that one?
Yes, I want to speak to that.
Good. Go right ahead. You're awesome.
I'm seeing reports from hospital staff and hospitals and hospital administrators saying that, telling patients that ivermectin is toxic to the body. That is just not true. I actually read a statement that Dr. Zelinsky put out that there's only been 6 deaths in the last year from ivermectin. 6 deaths. And I want to put out a public address to everybody. Don't go to a farming supply company and get ivermectin that's meant for animals. Get a pharmacy, get a doctor, get a pharmacy, a licensed pharmacy, go to American Frontline Doctors and get prescription ivermectin and get it dosed the right way. It should be dosed weight-based. But this false narrative that's being put out by the media and by hospitals that ivermectin is toxic to the body, that is ridiculous.
It's crazy, right? I mean, it's brutal. It was in the Wall Street Journal today. Can I ask you one more question, and then I'll let you go?
Yes.
You talk a little bit about, and this would just be a sneak peek into your next appearance, the patents, the money behind the vaccines. Who's deep? There's billions, and I did a whole show on this. It was the $38 billion scam.
And guys, just once again, Dr. Betsy be on for but just a few more minutes of the interview we did earlier today, and we're streaming it tonight during our show. We apologize for those of you on Rumble. We had a little technical issue. The Rumble live stream went down in the middle of the live show, but you guys obviously you see it now during the video replay. And we're going to do a whole show about the patents. Dr. Betsy's brilliant, knows it deep about the patents, the money, but this is just a little sneak peek into her knowledge and expertise. Follow the money, follow the greed, follow the criminals. Listen very, very attentively. This has been a very, very deep show. This is what we do here at the CBJ Real News. So pay attention, follow the money, follow the greed. There we go.
Where Pfizer's going to do, close to literally $40 billion with vaccines, from a few $100 million company to there's so far right now 14 new billionaires created. And you guys can see this. You guys can go to cbjrealnews.com and you guys can look at the episodes and you'll see one titled $38 billion Scam. And you'll see that episode on Rumble. You'll see that when you go to the podcast app and search it out. You just put, and you'll see it. Just put billion scam, it will come up. I broke it down for an hour one night, Dr. Betsy, about the money behind it and the growth and the not millions, billions of dollars. So can you share a little bit, just a little sneak peek into it, because we're going to do a whole episode on this, just the money behind the patents.
Well, first of all, the biggest funder of the research done by Peter Daszak and University of Wisconsin and North Carolina and the Wuhan lab, that money is well into the billions of dollars, and you have to look at who owns the Wuhan lab, who owns Pfizer, who's the parent company of Pfizer, who owns Moderna, who owns AstraZeneca, who has financial stake in those companies, and they're big time people. They're Gates, they're Fauci, they're Soros, they're big pharma. But listen to this. Remdesivir, Gilead's biggest contributors, supporters are financial stock companies. Or financial groups. BlackRock, $124 million interest in remdesivir. Capital Group, $115 million interest in remdesivir. Vanguard Group, $105 million investment in remdesivir. Remdesivir, just for a 5-day course of remdesivir in the hospital, the patients charged $3,120. $7 for a hydroxychloroquine.
Dude, she said $3,000. versus $7 a pill. It's such greed. It's such a scam. It's so criminal. And it's all Fauci, Gates, Soros, follow the money. That's why we conservatives, we the people are fighting back. We the people are standing up. This is such a deep, deep episode. It's deep. Pay attention, take notes, share it, and continue in the final few minutes.
Chloroquine for a week treatment, $7. Same thing with ivermectin. This is big money business.
It's mafia.
Dollars.
It's organized crime. That number again. You realize that's what everybody goes on. That's what press you got put on. You got put on how do you say it?
Remdesivir. And just let me say this.
Go.
For people who don't understand, remdesivir is in phase 3 trials. It's not FDA approved drug on the market yet. It's in phase 3 trials. So here you have a conspiracy of CDC and Fauci trying to say that hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin aren't FDA approved for COVID, but neither is remdesivir. So
and isn't that part of the CDC protocol? Because everybody's put on that. That's what everybody goes on and it kills them.
In the hospital, and there's criteria for when it's used, and but my point is, all of the media and the CDC and Fauci are suppressing, and why? Let me just get to the heart of why they're doing that. If to get an emergency use status,
This is huge. Pay attention. This is so huge.
You have to prove that there are no proven treatments out there in order to get approval of emergency use. Well, there are proven treatments. Hydroxychloroquine's proven treatment. So is ivermectin. It's a proven treatment. There's a great Japanese study that's already been completed that proves ivermectin. There's an Indian study that proves ivermectin is the cure for the COVID, as well as Regeneron. So guess what? If the media weren't suppressing this information, we wouldn't even have the vaccines out there right now because they don't meet the emergency use criteria.
It's crazy.
I just...
Even as I'm listening to the interview and we're playing it tonight on the show, I still get... my jaw drops. I'm speechless. This is such criminal activity. Don't be sucked into the jab, the vaccine. It's brutal. It's not a vaccine. It's biochemical warfare. The spike proteins, the transmission. Really listen to this episode. Share it everywhere. This is the final few minutes of Dr. Betsy, and then I will wrap this up. And this has just been a tremendous episode coming off yesterday's episode. Once again, make sure you watch that, share that, get it out everywhere.
I sit here as I'm doing the show with you live here, and my jaw is dropped. That's why we are doing all we can do for all of you. My wife Chrissy was on the phone literally probably 6 hours today with my husband was murdered, my wife's murdered. I just got live. Michael, my heart goes to you. He just sent an email in that my cousin passed today. He was on remdesivir and events and was rejected the protocol. Another one came in while we're doing the show live right now, Dr. Betsy. It's by all of you. We ain't backing down. And I want to thank all of you that support the Conservative Business Journal, support what we do, because, we've crossed the line. People go about hold the line. We've crossed the line. We're in enemy territory, and we're taking them out like David took out Goliath, and that's what we're doing. Dr. Betsy, I want to thank you for your special guest appearance tonight on the CBD.
Just like Scott McKay says, hold the fork in line.
Yeah, we're crossing it. We are crossing it. Like, we are over it, in their face, because I had a conversation with someone today about the media, and it was a young man, young, strong conservative. He's blown away by how people are turning. I said, look, they got paychecks. I said, we own and operate the Conservative Business Journal. This is like, we put an event on. If no one's in a room, somebody covers all that. We run. This is a media company. We are a for-profit media company. We have guests. We have podcast platforms, we have events, we have a studio, we have a business. It's a media. Media is paid by sponsorships. And this is before we connected, Betsy, but I had an opportunity. It was literally a very high six-figure media contract for advertising. Because when you guys listen to my audio podcast, you hear the ad. This podcast is brought to you by so-and-so, and that's marketing, advertising, sponsorships. They had in his contract that if the advertiser disagrees with either the host or the guest of the episode, what they say, they can choose to take their ad off that episode and pick another one to be on, which means they're choosing what they want their name behind. And I said, no. And they were blown away. We turned it down. They said no one else has done that in the media. And there's many people, this company's advertised on many Fox shows, many Newsmax shows. And I wouldn't take them because like this show would never make it. They would never approve this. And I want everyone to understand, when Uber came along and Airbnb came on, Airbnb disrupted hospitality and lodging, changed the face of it. Uber completely destroyed the transportation business. Well, we're destroying the media business. And I want to thank all of you, the listeners and sponsors and subscribers, and you share this. This is what you can't feel alone. Don't let them intimidate you. And that's why I love your heart. I love your passion, Dr. Betsy. I love what you are sharing. I appreciate your time tonight for appearance number 2 of many more to come. Tremendous, just tremendous wisdom. Phenomenal. So important.
You're quite welcome, and keep the faith, everyone, and pray. I'm praying for everybody, humanity, my patients, my family, my friends, my coworkers. I'm on my knees every night praying for everybody. I'm
That's
praying
awesome.
for this shot, this jab, this chemical delivery device to be outlawed in the United States of America.
That's right. Amen, Dr. Betsy. Thank you very much. You're awesome. Till next time together. God bless you. Thank you.
Guys, that was an epic, kind of unique episode. I recorded the interview earlier today and played it on my live show. And I want to thank all of you once again, guys. Make sure you follow us on Telegram at CBJ Real News. Join the channel. Make sure you share this episode on Rumble. Share it on our email. All of you guys receive us on email. Share it. Make sure that you download the podcast app or listen to why do I keep reaffirming that? Because there's a warfare for your belief. It's a warfare. It is a warfare for your faith level, for because you guys listening to this because you are part of We the People. You're part of the revolution that is happening right now. And once again, make sure you visit conservativemarketplace.com. We're starting to put in there, like we got Dr. Chris's book that's been selling like crazy, changing people's lives all around the world, literally. And now we just put in a few supplementations. You heard Dr. Betsy discuss them earlier. They are in the conservativemarketplace.com, conservativemarketplace.com. And let me show that quick commercial for it as we conclude. I want to throw a quick shout out to Audrey. Came in live on the show. Audrey from California grabbed a hold of a "We the People Are Pissed" hat. Correct, Christy? So let me show the quick commercial from conservativemarketplace.com. Guys, conservativemarketplace.com. I appreciate all of you patronizing there. And we have a brand new section, Dr. Christa's. What's the title, Christy? Dr. Christa's recommended health supplements. And guys, our whole goal is to equip you, empower you, conserve American values. Tremendous show tonight with Dr. Betsy. Make sure you guys share it, and make sure you guys stay tied in. It's a war. We are actively engaged in a war right now, bar none. So I thank all of you guys. God bless you. So I appreciate all of you commenting during the show, Christopher and Lisa and Kenzie and Troy and Lisa and Libby and so many others. Guys, God bless you. We're here for you. Whatever we could do for you, call or text 561-847-3467 or email team, TEAM team at conservativebusinessjournal.com. Good night. God bless you. You're awesome. Thank you, Dr. Betsy, for an incredible conversation this evening on our show titled Doctor Exposes How Vaccinated People Are Shedding Spike Proteins. Good night. God bless. Thank you.